It's a Democratic redistributing rumble, and naturally, California can't be left out of the fun. Governor Gavin Newsom wants a slice of the power grab pie with a plan that could tilt the blue state's political landscape to counter Texas.
They've triggered this response, and we're not going to roll over, and we're going to fight fire with fire. But we're going to do so not just punching with the weight of the fourth largest economy, the most populous state in our union, the size of 21 state populations combined, but we also will punch above our weight in terms of the impact of what we're doing. And I think that should be absorbed by those in the Texas delegation. Whatever they are doing will be neutered here in the state of California, and they will pay that price.
But while Newsom's seeing blue, our next guest is seeing red, introducing a bill targeting mid-decade redistricting in the state that would block another map before the 2030 census.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley joins us now. And in the bill, sir, that you plan to introduce tomorrow, thank you so much for being with us. In part of the statement where you explain what you're doing here, you talk about the fact that the California Supreme Court has held that the state constitution forbids mid-decade redistricting. But all of a sudden, you've got a situation where Newsom wants to upend the apple cart and do whatever he pleases.
Well, that's exactly right. He's trying to blow the whole thing up. We have a Supreme Court decision that said no mid-decade redistricting. We have an independent redistricting commission that was established by voters who said we don't want politicians drawing their own district lines. We think this should be done by an independent commission that is free of political influence. And Newsom is coming in and saying, none of that matters. I'm going to wipe it all out strictly for his own partisan advantage. And by the way, what he is proposing to do, what he's actually proposing, what he thinks he can do by seizing this power for himself again, the power that the voters actually actively took away from him, is he thinks he can reduce California's Republican congressional delegation from 9 out of 52 to 3 out of 52. So we get over 40% of the vote in statewide elections, yet he wants to make it so we have 5% of our state's congressional delegation. And California has not fared well as a one-party state. So if Newsom succeeds in making it even more of a one-party state, it is not going to be good news for 40 million Californians.
Even with all the things you've said on your side, the independent commission, and if your bill goes in, does it have a chance of passing? If not, do you have a legal challenge to Governor Newsom's attempt to take it over from the commission?
Yes, we have a lot of ways we're fighting this. I think that my bill is the simplest solution that simply says, why don't we do this once every 10 years when we get new population numbers? We don't need to be shifting lines around all the time. That's not a good thing for democracy or representative government. But if Newsom proceeds with this, we have a number of legal challenges that we could bring. And then ultimately, he's going to need to bring it to the ballot box again. And the challenge he faces is convincing voters to dismantle this commission that the voters themselves established overwhelmingly not that long ago. Now, what he's going to do, by the way, is use all manner of deception that he can summon. For example, I just saw the proposed ballot language that they're going to use, that people will actually read when they vote. And it says literally that he's doing the opposite of what he actually is doing. It says that he's retaining the Citizens Redistricting Commission when he's actually abolishing it.
How is that?
It's going to be a major battle to make sure voters get accurate information.
How is that possible? I mean, how is it possible to use that language when it's not accurate?
You know, it's because Gavin Newsom and the super duper majority in California have their hands on every single lever of power. And they have stacked the deck in every possible way that they can. And now it's only logical that they're going to try to remove the last vestige of fairness that we have in the electoral process in California by getting rid of the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission and trying to reduce the number of Republicans in our delegation from 9 out of 52 to 3 out of 52. It is perhaps the single most corrupt scheme we have seen in our state's entire history.
I was going to say, it sounds it's fraudulent to mislead people in that way. It's mind-blowing.
That's exactly right. That's right.
The citizens of California and the Republican numbers are growing. Are they growing enough to justify the Republicans using a similar argument?
Well, we have seen Republicans doing much better in California in recent years. You know, for many years, for decades, when it came to voter registration, The Democrats continue to go up, Republicans continue to go down. The gap got wider and wider and wider. But the last few years, we've seen a abrupt reversal of that trend, where Republicans have gained and Democrats have fallen for 6 straight voter registration cycles. So the gap is actually narrowed. We also passed a voter initiative last year to reverse some of Gavin Newsom's soft on crime policies. We saw several of these rogue district attorneys get removed from office, and we actually picked up seats in the legislature. So there are some good signs in California, and maybe that's why Newsom's so worried.
I was just about to say
use the power that he has now.
That's exactly why it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah.
Congressman Kevin Kiley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Congressman.
Of course. Thanks for having me.